All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er update as we update you on everything that happened here on a Saturday. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. And they do run out. And thanks to Claw Daddy Arcades for sponsoring this video. They're a great follow on Instagram at Claw_Daddy_Arcades to find locations near you. And they got a brand new location opening this week in Capitola Mall down in the South Bay. So check out Claw Daddy Arcades, a proud sponsor of the Krug Show, and their brand new location right here in the Bay Area inside Capitola Mall. All right, let's get into the stories of the day in Ninerland. And of course, you know, the Niners have a new player. It's new offensive lineman Kilian Zierer. He's German. He's the 49ers tallest player at over 6'7". He was born in Munich. He played soccer. He didn't play football until he was 16. He went to college at Auburn, became a full-time starter there by his senior year. And now the Niners have 28 linemen. 28 linemen total. He's a native of Munich, international pathway player. So he's the 17th member of the Niners practice squad. 6'7", 312, signed with the Houston Texans originally as an undrafted free agent in May of 2023. He had a 2-year NFL career thus far. He spent time on the Texans practice squad the last couple of years. He participated in training camp with the Falcons and the Browns this year. He's 25. As I said, he's from Munich, Germany. He appeared in 21 games at Auburn, 16 starts. Born and raised in Munich, and played soccer, moved to the United States to play football in college. First, he started playing for the College of the Canyons. So he played there 2018, 2019, and then played at Auburn 2020, 21, 22. He started every game at Auburn at left tackle in 2022 and actually was invited to the East-West Shrine game. So he's a pretty good player at the collegiate level, went undrafted in 2023, signed with the Texans, missed his rookie year due to an ankle injury, spent 24 on the practice squad. Also, as I said, stints with the Falcons and Browns. Because he's an international pathway player, he gets that 17th spot on the practice squad. He played 27 snaps at left tackle this last season, 32 snaps at right tackle. And I think that's probably, in a nutshell, what the Niners really like about him is he's got positional versatility. He can be that swing tackle, at least a swing tackle, potential swing tackle. So, you know, if the Niners decide that Burford's not it, Pleasance isn't it, whatever, they have a guy at least on the practice squad who's played both left tackle and right tackle. According to Pro Football Focus, he did not allow a pressure in 33 pass blocking attempts. So in the preseason finale, he also earned a 91.1 run blocking grade. So maybe this guy's a little bit better than some of the Niners international players. The Niners had Isaac Alarcon before. They also had Alfredo Gutierrez. I would say that neither of those guys are real NFL offensive linemen, but this guy might be. So it sounds like an interesting pickup, and we'll see what he looks like at practice here in the coming weeks, and we'll report back. The Niners have, finalized their full 17-man practice squad. It's Robbie Chosen, Sebastian Valdez, Evan Anderson, Nick Zakel, Kilian Zierer is the international pathway player, Curtis Robinson, Junior Bergen, Trevis Gibson. Who else? Eli Apple, Derek Canteen, Jalen Graham, Drake Nugent, Malik Turner, and Braden Willis. So, I mean, you know, they have a couple spots there that they could probably get better guys if they didn't want Malik Turner, Braden Willis, or Eli Apple. We'll see. But that's the practice squad. Overall, looks like a pretty deep practice squad. One of the interesting articles that caught my attention here in the last 24 hours is the Athletics' Jeff Howe, who I like reading. He compiled a list of notes on all 32 NFL teams and gave intel on what other teams were saying about each other, which is always interesting because sometimes, you know, when you give people anonymity, they speak the truth. And for the Niners, there was one negative and one positive. Some rival exec or some rival executives are skeptical that the Niners will be able to surround Brock Purdy with elite talent because of his contract. And, you know, there's no question the Niners early on, they had, like everybody that gets a quarterback on a rookie deal, that's your advantage, right? You're paying your quarterback peanuts. And so you can sign the Debos and the Ayuks and everybody to these massive contracts because you've got cap room. And now Purdy's making money that's in line with what he is as a pro. And you're going to have to be a whole lot more efficient in how you put together your roster. And that's not a Niners story. That's just a story around the NFL. So the margin for error shrinks. And then, if you look ahead, his cap number in 2028 explodes to 57.6 million, which is why the 49ers have, the third most cap room in the NFL and why they intend to roll over a big chunk of that, because they are looking to pay those balloon payments with some of the rollover cap from 2024, 2025, so on and so forth. So, I don't think this is any different than any other quarterback that goes from a rookie deal to making big money. You're going to have to draft better than you have. John Lynch and the 49ers have been really, really good on day 3 and really, really good after the draft. But it's time for them to be really, really good on day 1 and day 2. And if they're not really, really good on day 1 or day 2, in addition to what they're already good at day 3 and after the draft, they're probably going to fall off. They're probably not going to be a Super Bowl contender. So how Lynch and his personnel staff draft the kinds of players they can add to this roster is going to totally determine, the Niners' success or failure rate in the future. And as far as how it applies to Purdy, the Niners, you can find great play. Purdy is proof. Kittle's proof that you can find great players in any round. DJ Jones, round 6. George Kittle, round 5. Brock Purdy, round 7. Raheem Mostert, undrafted. You can find good players in any corner of the draft or after the draft. And it's just on the Niners to make sure they continue to stock their roster. But since the Niners have had one of the deeper rosters in the last 4 or 5 years under Lynch, sorry if I'm not going to sit here and be like, the sky is falling. They have no shot. They have no shot if they don't draft well. But if they draft well, they absolutely have a shot. It's probably as good a shot as anybody. There also was one positive comment around the Niners, and it was around the return of Robert Saleh. I guess coaches and executives are excited to see Robert Saleh return to, to the spot where he's best, right? He's one of the best defensive play callers in the game today. And there are a lot of opposing NFL people that are like, hey, Robert Saleh going back there means something. Also, kind of an interesting note on the Seahawks, who is the Niners' week 1 opponent. Howe says his intel tells him the Seahawks are, quote, a bigger threat in the NFC than many people expect. We'll see. I think they're offensively going to struggle, but defensively, I think they're a really, really sound outfit. One of the big topics is, can the 49ers get to the playoffs with a healthy Christian McCaffrey? And there's a great article in Niners Nation about this, about the split breakdown. In 2023, which was McCaffrey's last full season, he averaged 81% of the snaps. And in 2024, last year, Kyron Williams of the Rams was on the field for 87.5% of the snaps. So a lot of times the top running back is on the field all the time. In 2022, McCaffrey had 72.4% of the team snaps that he play. So I would say the addition of Brian Robinson, you got to get McCaffrey dialed down. 80% of the snaps, 81% of the snaps, too much. How about 65% of the snaps? Something like that. Niners Nation is suggesting 65% of the snaps go to CMC, 25% go to Robinson, 10% can be given to, some combination of Jordan James, Isaac Guerendo. I would say, I would like it to be more like, maybe 60 to 65% McCaffrey, Robinson more like 30%, and the other guys just bit roles. Maybe you use Guerendo in a variety of roles. You use James maybe to finish out games against teams where you've got a 10-point lead or something. You want to preserve Robinson and McCaffrey, and they're want to make sure they're as durable as they can be, and not getting too many snaps. Maybe you finish with James, but that's what I'd like to see. I think Niners Nation's right on it. They're saying 65-25. McCaffrey, Robinson. I'd like it more like 60-30. And we'll fill in with the rest of the guys after that. But to me, this is a major, major story for the 49ers. They have to get to the playoffs with a healthy Christian McCaffrey. Kyle Shanahan went on KMBR this week, and he said a number of interesting things. Said he's going to have a team party at his house coming up. They're going to have a surprise guest. It's a derby theme, he said, for the women with the hats and all that. But it sounds like it's a big old shindig. I mean, Shanahan's got like a $12 million house or something like that. Supposedly it's going to be some celebrity who appears. We don't know who it is. Who could it be? Could it be Taylor Swift? Could it be another appearance of Rick Ross? Who could it be at Kyle's? I mean, these guys are already pro athletes, so they're not going to be wowed by seeing like, another pro athlete. It probably has to be some musician, somebody in a different realm. They probably stay away from politics, so it's probably either an actor or a musician. Shanahan says the Niners will be ready to go week 1, whether they have Jennings or not. They're going to be ready. He expects Gage and Pearsall and Marquez Valdez-Scantling will all step up. He says that Brock Purdy has learned from his past mistakes. He says Brock is the right dude. And he says, hey, we all learn from our mistakes. Last year was the first year Brock had to play games that really didn't matter that much. And you find out about yourself and your focus and how your game develops and evolves. He says Brock, at the end of the day, is the right dude, which I think I would agree with that. Brian Robinson, he says, can be a true starting running back. He says he's really good in the passing game. Looking forward to seeing Robinson catching some passes. He was asked, will CMC get a lighter workload? And Kyle knows that this is like all, everybody's focused on this. And then he just doesn't want to give in to it because he's got Christian on the other hand going, hey, what I want the ball. So he's got to face up Christian. And yet he knows he can't just be like, no, he's going to get the ball the same amount of times. So he gave an answer like, hey, it depends on how he's moving. If he's healthy, he's going to have, he looks healthy. He's going to have a hell of a year. But come on, they didn't trade for a starting running back in Brian Robinson to give McCaffrey 100% of the snaps. As far as, Derek Papa asked Kyle, hey, did you peek ahead to Seattle? And he said, hey, look, basically the coaches, of course, peek ahead, but the players, he said, we're not going to get into the Seattle game plan with the players until they report this week. So he's very much compartmentalizing it. He doesn't want to overburden the players with anything extra, but he says absolutely the coaches have gotten a head start on Seattle. And then today, of course, is Texas, Ohio State, I should say. Texas, Oklahoma used to be a big rivalry. Now it's Texas, Ohio State. He was asked, Kyle, you going to watch Texas, Ohio State? He played at Texas. He's like, hell yeah, man. This is the first college game. Might be the only college game I got time to watch. So Kyle is watching Texas, Ohio State this weekend. By the way, Brock Purdy's career numbers in Seattle, for those of you going, hey, man, the Niners, are they going to win? Are they going to lose week 1? Let's get right to it. Niners roll into Seattle. They're currently 2.5-point favorites. Why are the Niners favored? Maybe because Brock Purdy owns Seattle. In Seattle, here's Purdy's career numbers in Seattle. 227 yards per game, 6 touchdown passes, only 1 pick, 3-0 record. The Niners clinched the NFC West in 2022 up there. They ruined Seattle's Thanksgiving in 2023 up there. And Brock has been the QB1 in 2 of those 3 starts. So I like the Niners week 1 in Seattle. As far as, if you're sitting there going, people going, oh, Brock Purdy's this, Brock Purdy's that, you may want to drop this one on them. For people who are like, he is not a top 10 quarterback, blah, 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 blah. Best winning percentage among quarterbacks drafted since 2020, Jaden Daniels, number 1. He's won 70.6% of his games, 71%. Number 2 at 70%, Jalen Hurts. Number 3 at 64%, Brock Purdy. Couple other notes involving the Patriots I think are kind of interesting. Their former wide receiver and former Niner wide receiver, Kendrick Bourne, has been cut loose by the Pats, and he's visiting the Niners on Monday, and he's scheduled to visit the Commanders on Tuesday. And, I get the feeling that if JJ doesn't show up on Monday, Bourne is going to be his replacement. They're going to do something with JJ. I don't know what. They're going to do something. And you know what? One other name that I think the Niners ought to take a look at, the Pats are releasing the veteran safety, Jabril Peppers. Now, this is a surprise, man. This guy's good. Peppers has $4.32 million guaranteed remaining on his contract for this year. He started 85 games, 26 with the Pats. He's totaled over 500 tackles, 7 picks, 6 forced fumbles, 7 fumble recoveries. Good player. I mean, 49ers want a good player at safety. They're probably going to have to battle Buffalo and a couple other teams that want Peppers. But, man, I would absolutely go after Jabril Peppers. He is a proven playmaker at the safety position, and especially without Mustafa, you know, maybe go with 9 offensive linemen and see if you could go sign a Jabril Peppers. I'd do it. I absolutely would do it. All right. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to our good friends at Claw Daddy Arcades. Good luck to Claw Daddy in the grand opening of their Capitola Mall location, which is open this weekend. Check it out. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube,